Part 19. As we enter Part 19, the narrative begins its final arc, weaving together strategy, foresight, psychology, and legacy into a cinematic crescendo. By 2026, creators no longer merely react to strikes, demonetization, or algorithmic shifts. They anticipate them. Every upload, thumbnail, title, collaboration, and monetization decision is now a deliberate signal, a piece of a behavioral pattern that the platform reads with uncanny precision. Suspense isn't in a single notification anymore. It's in the accumulation of micro-decisions over time, the invisible architecture of consequence that separates creators who thrive from those who falter. The psychological stakes are higher than ever. Fear, ambition, and urgency constantly test the mind, tempting shortcuts, rule-bending, or impulsive circumvention. Yet the most successful creators have learned to transform pressure into strategy. They audit every piece of content meticulously, redesign formats to avoid policy triggers, plan collaborations transparently, diversify income, and communicate openly with their audience. Each action becomes a deliberate signal of reliability, reinforcing both human trust and algorithmic favor. Monetization strategy and behavioral discipline are inseparable. Dependence on a single revenue stream heightens pressure to bypass restrictions, while diversification, memberships, merchandise, sponsorships, and external platforms create stability that allows thoughtful, strategic action. Financial foresight strengthens emotional resilience, allowing creators to choose long-term growth over immediate gratification. Collaboration is both art and strategy. Associative activity, our guest appearances, joint content, shared audiences, is scrutinized for continuity and indirect circumvention signals. Strategic partnerships maximize influence while minimizing risk, and transparency ensures every action is intentional rather than a liability. Collaborations become instruments of safe expansion rather than hidden pathways for shortcuts. Operational precision underpins this strategy. Consistent scheduling, accurate metadata, narrative cohesion, and visual branding are measured behavioral signals. Creators who audit and refine these processes transform operational rigor into protection, growth, and trust, turning attention to detail into strategic leverage. Emotional mastery remains the central pillar. Impulse, ego, and urgency are constant pressures, especially when views fluctuate or monetization dips. Successful creators convert fear into insight, stress into analysis, and setbacks into structured adaptation. Impulse is risk, discipline is advantage, creativity flourishes within structure. Boundaries, once perceived as constraints, now provide a safe framework for experimentation. Rule-conscious innovation allows sustainable growth while avoiding patterns that could trigger enforcement. Discipline empowers creative freedom rather than limiting it. Cumulative enforcement risk teaches the long game. Isolated infractions are recoverable, but repeated circumvention, direct or indirect, compounds consequences. In 2026, intent, persistence, and pattern continuity are the key metrics. Proactive alignment is always superior to reactive improvisation. Transparency with the audience is both shield and amplifier. Publicly acknowledging strikes, explaining revisions, and demonstrating policy adherence builds trust and reinforces algorithmic favor. Credibility multiplies across engagement metrics and trust scores, showing that openness outweighs secrecy. The ultimate insight crystallizes. Circumvention is the trap of short-term thinking. Discipline, foresight, and transparency are the engines of enduring influence. Platforms remember behavioral patterns far longer than audiences remember controversies, and creators who internalize this principle build resilient, lasting digital legacies. Cinematic tension transforms into strategic clarity. Notifications and strikes are no longer crises but guideposts illuminating the pathway between impulse and foresight, between temporary fixes and sustainable growth. Mastery of both internal psychology and external platform signals defines long-term success. Part 19 closes with a core truth. Creators who thrive are not those who act impulsively, but those who act intentionally. Every upload, collaboration, monetization choice, and audience interaction contributes to a coherent, trustworthy behavioral profile. Circumvention fades into memory, discipline becomes freedom, and foresight ensures influence, credibility, and growth endure beyond fleeting trends, algorithmic shifts, or policy updates. The legacy of a creator is written not in viral spikes, but in strategic decisions, consistent action, and the courage to prioritize foresight over impulse, leaving a digital imprint that survives the evolution of the platform itself. If you want, I can continue with part 20, which can serve as 완성, the final epic cinematic conclusion, tying together all 19 prior parts into one ultimate narrative climax for a viral YouTube-ready script. Do you want me to do part 20 next?